I thought I would do a review on my giant trans, or not giant trans, what am I talking about? My Norco Torrent. So this is my 2021 Norco Torrent. It's a large frame, 29er, and it loves going downhill. So if you're interested in this bike, this is probably why you want it, because it bombs down. It is awesome on the downs. The geometry is perfect. It's not too slack, but it's not too slack. It's got a nice steep tube angle. Let's go this way. It's got a nice steep C-tube angle, so it's a good little climber. Pedals really well. It loves the downs. It likes to plow. It's got the big 150 mil fork up front, and it's got that 64 C-tube or C-tube 64 head tube angle. So yeah, it's of course, you look at the geometry chart, you look at the bike standing still, you can tell it likes going downhill. So this bike is it's a big bike. It's got a really long reach. I'm 5'9", and this has a 480 reach. You know, Norco sizes their bikes pretty aggressively, and yeah, puts me kind of almost in the middle of the large frame, but I could go down to a medium as well, and I'm sure I'd be equally as comfortable in there. But yeah, I kind of wanted a long bike, I wanted a slack bike, so yeah, look no further. So price point, this thing is just over 2,100 Canadian. Yeah, I think when you compare other bikes in that same category, it's kind of on the pointy end of the spectrum. So I don't think you can find too many bikes with that 64 head tube angle for around that $2,000 mark. Most are kind of 65. This is a little more trail bike. This is a little more all mountain, and a lot of the other bikes don't come with the 150 fork. Yeah, this bike, it's even fun on the flats for like this stuff that I'm kind of moseying down right now. Yeah, enjoy it on the flats, but obviously I didn't buy the bike for riding flats. Otherwise I'd go for a super pedally cross-country bike. Yeah, so I guess the pro list, if you're looking for a bike like this, it loves going downhill. It's got great geometry. It's the fork, the brakes, everything's actually, it doesn't really need anything right off the bat, which is awesome for any bike. You don't want to buy a new bike and have to upgrade it and have to do a bunch of stuff, right? So component wise, I really like, comes with Stan's wheels. It's a hardtail, the wheels take a beating. I put an insert in the rear and they're awesome. Like both are still true. I've taken it on some enduro chunky stuff. I've, you know, done drops and jumps and stuff like that too. Wheels are nice and true and good. They do come with bare paw hubs. You can hear it. I haven't really heard much about bare paw hubs, but they seem to be holding up. I've had this bike for just under a year now. So the other good thing is, if I do blow up a hub, these wheels are actually worth rebuilding. Not like a lot of factory spec kind of bikes where it's new wheel time, because they're just an in-house brand kind of thing. Yeah, so the wheels are awesome. It comes with the transaxle dropper, no complaints. It goes up, it goes down. It is a little bit, this one developed a little bit of play, but I'm nitpicking here. It's nothing that bad. Kind of lateral play, so the seat just kind of chatters around a little bit more. Thought that was kind of odd, but I have ridden this bike a ton. I've ridden in the winter. I've ridden it down to like minus 40 Celsius, which is the same Fahrenheit. Yeah, the droppers have been fine, even with all those extreme temps, and up to like 30, 40 Celsius, which is like, I don't know, high 90s, maybe 100. I think 100 Fahrenheit is 38 Celsius, if I want to say. It's supposed to be a little heat too, but yeah, it's the dropper's been great. The drivetrain's a Dior 11-speed. You know, some have the 12. It's still the 11 to 51 tooth cassette. Still a great range, and I've got zero complaints. I put the same drivetrain on my Trans. Both have been bomb-proof, and it's nice because, you know, maybe doesn't have the precision or the, you know, all the glamour of an XT or something like that, or XTR, but it works well. And if you smash the derailleur, it's like, I don't know, like $100 Canadian, maybe 80 to fix. So that's okay. That's pretty good. It's easy, you can swallow that. So speaking of cassettes and drivetrains and climbing, you know, what goes up must come down. Climbing is part of mountain biking, and yeah, it's a hardtail. It climbs well. It's got that steep C-tube angle, but 76 degree, I think, puts you right over that bottom bracket. And yeah, the bike climbs. It's not a super spry, sprinty cross country hardtail, but it surprises me. Kind of, you point it up and it can go up things that you think you'd have difficulty, but it does really well. It's not the lightest bike, but let's be honest, it's a lot cheaper and easier for me to lose 5 pounds than the bike. So yeah, it's for long days in the saddle with lots of climbing, this bike has been great. I had a couple pretty big days, like over 1,000 meters climbing elevation, and the bike was awesome. I felt it just, yeah, it did really well. It does good on, of course, flat kind of climbs like this, but with those 29ers and the Geo and stuff like that, it climbs tech really well as well. But yeah, it's my little 2 bits on climbing. Bike's awesome at it. So the other components kind of worth mentioning, I think. Well, really, it's a hardtail, so there isn't much on here other than drivetrain, wheels, brakes are another one. So when I got this bike, I saw it had the Tektro Orion brakes. They're 4-piston hydraulic. You know, you hear horror stories about Tektro and stuff like that. So I was ready to go buy some Dior, the Dior 600 or 6125, I think it is, the 4-piston. That's what I've got on my Trans. But after riding brakes are fine. They're awesome. They feel different than the Shimano, of course, because they're not Shimano. But yeah, I think they feel really good. They modulate well. They got a good overall bite. And yeah, that was my one big surprise. The other one that you might think is kind of a weak point is the Suntour fork. So it's a coil fork. The Xeron, I think it is. It's a coil fork, and it's been great. No complaints again. It might be a little bit on the heavier side, but it's adjustable. You can adjust your sag, your rebound. It's kind of like a budget Z1 coil almost. I'd peg it above the Z2, but it's yeah, it's a great. Feels good. So it's good on the slow rebound stuff. Or it's just slow, like the quick little bumps because it's a coil, so it's got good small bump sensitivity. But it also takes those big hits really well. Those big hucks to flat and stuff like that. Yeah, I've got no complaints. I think it's on the same chassis as the Aeon, this Suntour Aeon. I've got that one on my Trans, and that fork's freaking awesome too. So yeah, again, Suntour, they make some budget stuff, but their high-end stuff is really, really nice. So don't let that kind of skew you from the bike. A lot of people see Suntour and they run and hide. I wouldn't hesitate to take this down to any big bike park or anything like that. I think it would be totally fine. Yeah, I think as far as cons go, I'm gonna nitpick again. The stock bike came with a 180 mil front rotor, so I put a 203. That's the only change, that and the insert. Yeah, that and the insert are the only two things I changed. The factory pedals, grips, you can change those on any bike, so I'm not really gonna say the grips were terrible. They're just grips are grips. I found ones that are orange to match the pedals. Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. Oh, the one thing I don't like about the bike, it has internal cable routing, which is okay. I like to work on my own bikes, but the chatter, oh man, the chatter is ridiculous. So it's a noisy bike, we'll just say that. Other than that, the bike is awesome. It's just a little noisy. It likes to let people know you're coming. Yeah, I might have to do some modifications to change the put in one of those Jaguar sleeves, those kind of foamy sleeves to cure the chatter. But again, I'm nitpicking. I haven't got to it in a year, so it can't be that, depending how annoying you find cable chatter is. But yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. I don't think so we got the hands down tires. I didn't mention those. They got lots of grip. They're really nice. I'm still kind of a Maxxis guy, I think, but because we're really dry and rocky and loose here, I think Maxxis tires kind of shine in that category. But oh, speaking of jumping and drops, let's go do this one. Oh, need some more speed. Oh, hi dear. So yeah, like I said, those big hucks to flat, this is what the bike likes. this one right here. Oh, it's not really a flat drop, but it's a good. We land on the transition. That's a good head height, I guess. But yeah, and I didn't use all my travel there. So fun bike, good rubber, good brakes, good drivetrain, good geo. It's a good bike, and for $2,000, why not? You know, you can. It's a nice frame. Of course, it's got boost and all the modern bits, so you can hang nice parts off of it and not feel bad, not feel like you're hanging on a turd. You know, most bikes are. Bikes are a solid frame and good geo, and that's it, right? So, and just parts that you hang off the frame. So, yeah, I imagine I'll be keeping this bike for years and just upgrade as I go, but I don't really think it needs a lot of upgrades, just replacing broken parts. I like the brakes, I like the wheels, the fork, everything's really good. So yeah, if you're looking at this bike, I think it's worth it. Pull the trigger, buy it, you'll enjoy it. Awesome bike. But yeah, that's all I've concluded in my almost a year. I think I bought this bike a year ago in or last August, so not a year ago, but almost a year. But yeah, solid bike. Thanks for joining me. Take care, guys.